Surfboard fins have a major influence on how you and your surfboard perform together. Sure, there's magic in the surfboard design, but it's the fins that brings that magic to life. So we're going to check in with some of the world's best surfers and chat to them about their preferred fin templates. Harley.
Hey mate.
Thanks mate for
Good to
having
see
us
ya.
in the garage. Yeah, good to see you too. Mate, this is it. This is the garage. This is where all the hardware lives, obviously, yeah?
And where I spend most of my time too.
Yeah, I bet. And you've already laid out a few of these fins for us to go through. This is going to be a good chat. Look, you're a World Longboard Champion, so let's start with longboarding. Let's go back to the start. Tell us about your style of longboarding.
I grew up riding everything. Dad collect old boards from, sort of 1930s, 40s Australian history all the way through. So I grew up with everything. The first boards he shaped me were soft rail single fins. I guess I'm probably more well known for performance longboarding just because the era I came through in, it was all performance longboarding, and just the beaches and the waves I have here, it's more short punchy type stuff. So I love riding longer rail boards in good quality waves, not necessarily a typical slow point break, small stuff for logging, but when we get those conditions, I really enjoy riding my nose rider and single fins as well.
What's your sort of preferred single fin of choice if you're just going to throw one fin in there?
I ride generally like in the 10 inches. Like I like the click. I've had quite a few of those. Any of the fins that have got like the smaller tips, I kind of like a small tip on my single fins. Like sort of more of a pockety, hollow wave. Once those bigger tip fins let go of the face, they let go all of a sudden. Whereas a smaller tip, you'll kind of get that feedback more. It'll like start to drift and feather a little bit more rather than just an in or out. But for me, yeah, I just find having that little bit of control with a smaller tip.
Yeah, cool. So the click's almost exactly what you've just described.
Yeah, it's a good happy medium. It's not like ultra small in the tip, but for what's out there, I think I'd class it on the smaller tip
size. So it can nose ride, but it's
really
also free enough to be able to turn a fairly substantial size single fin.
For me, it's just a really well balanced, good all rounder.
Your signature longboard set that's been in the FCS range for a number of years now, it's done very, very well. I feel like a lot of longboarders go to this style of fin, but then it's also almost a hybrid set that you could
for sure
throw in a mid-length or a shorter hybrid board. But let's talk about the fin template and the fin setup. So it's a kind of a 4+1 setup. That obviously looks a lot smaller than that.
Definitely. I don't know if you added up the side fins and the center fin and the areas might end up pretty similar maybe, okay. I don't know, but just spreading that area out, and in particular having some fin up front area to push off. Long rail boards, you don't really stand, foot against the tail block like you would on a short board. A lot of the time you're driving from, half a metre up the board some of the time, so the fin cluster can be further up the board, which means you can have more area, why my sides are XL. And yeah, obviously I played with lots of 2+1s with like smalls and 8 inches or mediums and 7 inches and different variations, and everything has its pros and cons. Generally the bigger the centre fin, the little bit more drag, which is better for nose riding. But if you want to break free into a proper trim and sort of hold the speed through your turns and all the rest of it, and particularly out of the lip, the bigger the back fin, the more they sort of stick in the top of the wave. I just found for me, for like holding speed through roundhouses and being able to get the board out of the lip, having a more balanced fin set for me worked. And the trade-off of the kinds of nose rides you do on a performance longboard, a lot of the time you're more planing rather than having the tail deep. I mean, you can be right in the pocket, but a lot of the time you're not slow and tail's not deep in the whitewash where all the turbulence is. So I don't find, like sometimes it has its moments, but more often than not I find that this has enough hold for the nose rides.
Another thing to note about your longboard set is that we've incorporated air core into the build. So it's a performance core fin with air core technology inside. So it's a pressed foam core on the inside, which kind of mimics the foil of the fin. That allows us to take some fiberglass and resin out while still kind of maintaining a flex that we want to achieve.
Yeah, I actually found it was a really good upgrade to the fin, from having them in just PC cord to the air core. The air core I felt like an instant way better.
And a little bit lighter too, yeah?
Lighter and stiffer. It's still plenty enough flex, but because they were such a big fin, the old PCs were almost a bit too doughy almost. A bit towards the black plastics a little bit. And this was just that, it's that perfect in between.
You're a huge advocate of the quads, obviously. It's we talk about quads a lot of the time because I think that's what you're riding most of the time.
Yeah.
That quad trailer.
Yeah, so it's
paired with your side fin.
Yeah.
Bit of a go-to.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, especially any like my mid-lengths and any high volume like fishers or just anything that feels slightly over volume. Yeah, pretty much we'll run these quads, and the quad rear is just to perform a large quad rear. 80/20 foil. Before we had dedicated quad rears, I was just using PC 2s and 3s, which had the inside foil but had that kind of 80/20-ish leading edge. And I found they worked quite well, but yeah, the 80/20 dedicated quad rears are really good.
Okay.
Really free feeling.
I think at the end of the day, we can talk about foils and different templates and all that stuff, but it really comes down to a feeling, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And when you've got a board and you put a set of fins in it that perhaps doesn't feel quite right, when you do put the right set of fins in and everything clicks, that's when you know you're onto something.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think too, a lot of people will get hung up on so many things, and it's kind of what was your point of reference before you got on that set of fins or on that equipment. And like a lot of the time, say, I know guys who ride 20s a lot, they don't look loose or slidey or something, but if you've been riding quads or something really standard and functional and you jump on it, of course, for a little while, it's gonna
feel squirrely.
Yeah, and you can take that to any level with any set of fins.
What's your go-to set? Like when you make a new board, whether it's a mid-length or one of your shorties or whatever, what do you have, like a standard set that you put in and go, okay, here's the baseline?
Yeah, for a long time it was the AM for me, and then probably in the last, 5 or 6 years, it's more been the reactors.
Okay.
And yeah, I think a lot of people think of the reactor as a very pivoty fin, but that effective base, because it comes straight out of the tab, straight up, I think the bottom part of the fin that you actually push off, there's a lot of fin there, like more than most other fins in the range. So although the top will allow you to, when you weight off, you can pivot it quite easy. When you gas on, it actually drives really hard. So for me, it's been a really good all-round fin.
It's a perfect segue to talk about your new set. So your new Harley Ingleby mid. It's basically exactly that, isn't it?
It is.
It's the reactor set.
Large,
Tell us the story, because you went one way and then we ended up coming back here.
I don't know, just to this board and all my shorties I ride, it was just kind of, why am I trying to fix something that's not broken? I just love this fin so much. So being able to pair this tri-set with the Performer medium quad rears, for me was, just like the perfect pairing, just a little bit more drive in the Performer quad rear versus the reactor quad rear. What I use, and obviously the reactor set has that slightly smaller centre fin.
Yeah, it's got a different centre fin, which is something. It's something unique to this set. It's not exclusive, but it's unique. It's the side fin and the back fin are substantially different in template.
Yeah, well the centre fin's obviously it's smaller. It's not quite as deep, and it's got that more cut out back. And for me, I don't know, I have always liked sets, broken up sets where the fins are different front to back, a little bit 2+1-ish, I guess. Which, I play with 2+1s with twins and stuff quite a lot, and with my extra large longboard set, I'll pair them with different fins in mids and stuff as well. A lot of the time on the longer rail boards, you are driving more off the front fin, you're on rail, you're more using the length of the rail to drive and having that, big bassy sort of front fin.
Nuggety little thing, isn't it? It's got a lot of push forward, doesn't it? And then that centre fin,
when you weight off, you can swing it around in the pocket.
Really neutral, kind of well-balanced centre fin. It's actually the old G3 template scaled up a little bit. For the older crew watching, they'll remember the old G3 and G5s. You would ride this on the mid-6?
Yeah, mid-6. I know a lot of people, if they're not, maybe people under 80 kilos, probably in the Mo, the 7.2 Mo. I like a lot of fin in that board, especially because I usually ride the Mo in weaker waves, and I like more fin in weaker waves. You do more pushing rather than just speed control when there is good surf.
Let's pivot from that talk about some 20s because you've been riding 20s a lot over the years, from the keel fishers to more sort of performance 20s, ASIMs, the power twin. This has become it's a staple in the FCS twin range. It was the real first 20 that came in and got a lot of popularity behind it.
To be honest, I think a lot of the template came from just utilising the curves from
thruster set.
Yeah, and I also had some inspo from actually a fin that's back here, which is a fin Billy used to do with Gary Timperley.
Okay.
Yeah, which was like before that 2-tab days. That's a really old set of fins sitting there.
Yep.
I didn't want to ride keels, so I just wanted to have that little bit more base, not quite as deep. So trying to sort of surf out of the lip a little bit, not having so much fin in the water.
Yep.
In that part of the thing, but yeah, just wanted to make a really well balanced fin.
Performance twin fin? Is that what you call it?
For me it is.
Yeah.
For me, I'd say this is just an all-round performance fins for sure. Yeah, works good.
How do you make a choice when you go down to the surf and you're thinking, okay, am I going to ride my longboard today? You've been shaping a lot of shorties lately, and you're obviously doing incredibly well in the mid-length category. That's really taken off over the last 4 or 5 years, gone ballistic. So talk about sort of the different genres and what's your favourite?
Oh, it's just mood-based really.
Okay.
Especially now that I've sort of wiped the competition mindset totally from my psyche. I took a couple of years off when I had a little one and whatever, and COVID made it hard to travel anyway, everything. And I was like, I'll probably go back. But once I stopped competing, the itch hasn't come back at all really.
Okay.
Other than to see my friends and all the crew and stuff. I still obviously ride my longboards and everything. I rode my longboard in some nice hollow little waves this morning. And yeah, it's just mood based, I might have been riding the shortboard too much for a week or two or whatever and just go, oh damn, I'm just gonna mix it up.
Yeah.
Mix it up. And for me, it's always worked mixing it up. I find if I ride the one exact board for more than 5 or 6 surfs in a row, I can feel the stokes sort of plateauing out. So I'm just continually just mixing it up, and because I've done it my whole life, I'm already, without even thinking about it, adjusting what lines I'm going to take. And yeah, for me, it just keeps my surfing really fresh, and it's pretty rare I can't pick something out of the quiver and get excited to paddle out.
Let's just touch on the system. The FCS2 system in particular, it's made travelling a breeze. It's pretty convenient. How are you finding the system?
Couldn't live without it really.
Yeah.
Even just in my car every day, like you said, I have so many boards in the van any given day. I pretty much get out of the water and just take my fins out straight away. And I'd hate to be still sitting there screwing bloody fins.
Harley, thanks for having us in the garage, and thanks for letting us tap into some of your knowledge. You've already been for an early surf, but I think we should go for another one.
Let's have a look.
Let's go and do it. All right, thanks mate.